You ever find yourself stuck in a conversation about the weather and somehow feel like you just ran a mental marathon? You're nodding, smiling, saying things like, yeah, totally, and that's crazy, even though nothing is crazy and you stopped listening 3 minutes ago. Your energy is draining in real time. Your brain is quietly begging for an exit. And when the conversation finally ends, you don't feel neutral. You feel tired, not physically, psychologically. And then comes the guilt. Why am I like this? Why can everyone else chat so easily? Why does something so small feel so exhausting? If that sounds familiar, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know. There's a deeper psychology behind why small talk drains certain people. And it's not because they're antisocial, awkward, or secretly judging everyone in the room. In fact, the reason is much more interesting than that. Before we go deeper, if you've ever felt this quiet exhaustion in conversations, the kind you can't quite explain, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel, not for the algorithm, but so you don't feel like you're the only one who experiences this. Now, let's start with the depth seeker. This is the person who can talk for hours about one meaningful topic, but feels depleted after 5 minutes of surface-level conversation. You're at a party. Someone asks, "So, what do you do?" You answer. They answer. Then comes the silence. Then another question that feels copied and pasted from a social script. Your mind doesn't light up. It shuts down. Psychologically, depth seekers are wired for meaning. Their brains release energy when conversations feel purposeful, when ideas connect, when emotions are explored, when something real is being exchanged. Small talk doesn't offer that reward. It's informational, but not nourishing. So instead of feeling stimulated, your brain feels underfed. You're not bored because you're arrogant. You're bored because your mind is asking for substance and keeps getting packaging instead. If this is you, you probably come alive in late-night conversations or one-on-one talks that unexpectedly turn honest. And you might feel strangely lonely in rooms full of friendly people. Then there's the hyper-aware listener. This person isn't just participating in small talk, they're monitoring it. While someone is speaking, you're tracking tone, facial expressions, pauses, subtext. You notice when someone laughs too hard at their own joke, when another person checks out halfway through a sentence, when the energy subtly shifts. You're not just talking, you're processing everything. Psychologically, this comes from high social sensitivity. Your brain treats social interaction like a live data stream. That means small talk isn't simple, it's cognitively expensive. What drains you isn't the words, it's the constant awareness. You leave conversations feeling like you've been on the entire time. And you probably need silence afterward, not because you dislike people, but because your nervous system needs to reset. If this resonates, you might notice that you enjoy conversations more when you're allowed to just be, not perform, not manage, not subtly regulate the room. Another type is the authenticity guard. This person feels drained by small talk because it feels fake, or at least incomplete. You don't mind being polite, you don't mind being friendly, but repeating the same safe phrases over and over creates a quiet internal tension. You're saying things you don't feel just to maintain social harmony. Psychologically, this creates internal friction. Your outer behavior and inner state aren't aligned, and the brain doesn't like that. It takes energy to maintain a version of yourself that isn't fully true, even in small ways. So every "how are you?" answered with "good" when you're not actually good adds up. By the end of the conversation, you don't feel connected. You feel slightly split. If this is you, you probably crave conversations where you can drop the mask early. And you might admire people who are honest in a gentle, unforced way. Then there's the overstimulated introvert, but not the stereotype. This isn't about being shy or socially anxious. This is about bandwidth. You might enjoy people. You might even enjoy conversation. But your brain processes interaction deeply, not casually. Each exchange uses a noticeable amount of mental energy. Small talk doesn't seem small to you. It's still input, still noise, still effort. Psychologically, this comes down to stimulation thresholds. Some brains recharge through interaction. Others recharge through internal space. When small talk piles on without offering emotional return, your system flags it as a net loss. So you withdraw, not because you dislike the people, but because your energy economy demands it. If this sounds like you might notice that even pleasant social days require recovery time, and you may feel most yourself when no one expects anything from you at all. But here's the twist most people miss. Feeling drained by small talk doesn't mean you're bad at socializing. It often means you're too good at something else. You're good at noticing, at reflecting, at feeling things fully, at engaging with meaning rather than momentum. Small talk is designed for speed and safety. It keeps interactions light, predictable, and non-threatening. And for many people, that's perfect. But for others, it feels like eating air. You participate, you chew, but you're still hungry. And over time, your body and mind start associating small talk with depletion instead of connection. That's not a flaw. It's a signal. So what happens if you stop fighting this part of yourself? Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you ask, "What kind of connection actually nourishes me?" Maybe you don't need fewer conversations. Maybe you need different ones. Maybe you don't hate talking. Maybe you hate talking without meaning. And maybe the real psychology here isn't about introversion or extroversion at all, but about alignment between what your mind needs and what your environment offers. So take a moment and ask yourself, which type felt closest to you? Do you feel drained by small talk because it lacks depth, because it demands awareness, because it feels inauthentic, or because your energy works differently? And what would happen if you honored that instead of apologizing for it? If this topic hit a little too close to home, you're not alone. If you want to keep exploring these quiet psychological layers, like the video and subscribe. There's always more beneath the surface than it seems,